Gumball is probably the show with the weirdest characters in cartoon history, and honestly, that's not a bad thing, quite the opposite. But you've definitely noticed that, among all these strange characters, some are absolutely adored and others are totally hated. Among the characters we just mentioned, one of the creepiest by far is Daisy the donkey. At least once we uncover her dark secret. At first, Daisy just seems like a cute cartoon character featured in tons of products in Gumball's world, like cereal boxes, TV shows, and skating events. Seriously, she's so famous she even has her own amusement park. But in the episode The Night, she reveals herself to be an evil doll, think Annabelle level creepy, and has this bizarre urge to destroy Aeneas for good. And the worst part, this happens after we saw Gumball, Darwin, and Aeneas literally risking their lives to rescue Daisy from Tina. That made her not just scarier, but also one of the most hated characters by fans who see her as totally ungrateful. But she's definitely not the only character fans can't stand. There are plenty more, along with others who are truly loved by everyone. So get ready because we're about to blow your mind. Out of all the creepy characters in the amazing world of Gumball, sweet-looking Mrs. Robinson might have the most naturally evil personality of them all. In one episode, we actually get to see what her day-to-day life looks like, and it's all about being as wicked as possible. She's literally evil at her core. No joke. This woman, or better said, this puppet, throws her own brother into a freezing lake just for fun. So yeah, it's totally fair to say Mrs. Robinson is one of the most despicable beings in all of Gumball's universe. Which is actually super weird considering her son is the exact opposite of both her and her husband. If it weren't for the fact that he clearly looks like a marionette, just like Mr. and Mrs. Robinson, you'd never guess Rocky is their son. That's because this guy is friends with practically every kid at Elmore Junior High. Plus, he's so helpful that he basically does every job at the school, except for actual teaching. He's a janitor, a bus driver, you name it. For all these reasons and more, Rocky is definitely one of the most beloved characters in all of Elmore. Everyone likes him. Well, everyone except his own parents. One of the only halfway decent things Mrs. Robinson ever did was collect a tear from Billy Parham, the blue egg boy, and drink it, proving she feeds off people's misery. Because as awful as it is to say, Billy is disgusting. He acts like he's better than everyone else in Elmore and is constantly mocking people, which can definitely turn into bullying. And that's never okay. He even came close to being Aeneas's first boyfriend in the episode The Egg, but that ended real quick after he mocked Daisy, Aeneas's favorite toy, and that was basically the end of any chance he had for redemption in the series. He remains one of the most annoying and disliked characters in all of Gumball.
The donkey!
In an ironic way, of course.
What? No, I love Daisy.
Oh, I'm Daisy, the incarnation of the dumbing down of a whole nation of children while cashing in on merchandising.
Well, what show do you watch?
Fireman Pete, of course.
Sorry, Billy, but that's a deal breaker.
Without a doubt, one of the nicest guys in the entire Gumball universe is Mr. Small, the guidance counselor at Elmore Junior High. Even though he's often completely out of touch with reality, there's no denying that he's incredibly friendly and genuinely cares about others. One great example of this is in the episode The Void, where he helps Gumball and Darwin access a parallel dimension to rescue Molly, who had been deemed irrelevant by the world itself and tossed into that strange place. On top of that, he leads a charity march to raise money for the Wattersons, when everyone believes the family has gone completely broke. Sure, his advice usually leaves the students even more confused than when they walked into his office, but his heart is always in the right place, and he's one of the kindest people around. That's exactly why Mr. Small is one of the most beloved characters in the amazing world of Gumball. And what about you? Which character do you love the most? And which one do you just can't stand? Drop your answers in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss our next videos. Now moving from one of the nicest guys to one of the biggest show-offs, we get to Tobias, Gumball and Darwin's classmate, and easily one of the most selfish characters in the entire show. Tobias is the kind of guy who always has to make every conversation about himself. In one episode, he even tried to charge the Watterson brothers $10 just to be his friend. Not that it worked out, since he's honestly super annoying. And to make things worse, you could say he has a real talent for being a player, since he's always flirting with girls at school, even hitting on Penny fully knowing that she and Gumball are dating. That actually leads the two of them to duel over her. So yeah, loyalty is definitely not one of his strong suits.
I am Sir Tobias of Elmore, and I'm here to claim your daughter's hand.
On the other hand, there's no doubt that Darwin is the most loved character in the amazing world of Gumball. The Wattersons' adopted son often serves as the voice of reason for his parents, and especially for Gumball. He's the one who encourages Gumball to give Sarah another chance at friendship, even knowing that she has a pretty obsessive crush on both of them. But the moment that truly proves Darwin's noble heart is his emotional journey back from the ocean to Elmore, just to reunite with his best friend and brother. Along the way, he faces all kinds of dangers and challenges, even risking his life more than once. That's why Darwin is the ultimate best friend and brother anyone could ever ask for, making him one of the most, if not the most, loved characters in the amazing world of Gumball. As crazy as it sounds, one of the worst characters in the entire Gumball series is actually Gumball himself. But not the version we all know and love. I'm talking about his bizarre and arrogant alter ego that shows up after he finds out his real name is Zach. From that moment on, we meet a cocky new persona who rides a skateboard through school wearing sunglasses, barking orders at everyone and acting like the universe revolves around him. He becomes a total nightmare, bossy, unpredictable, and always stirring up trouble. He takes things without asking, acts like he's better than everyone else, and even brags about smelling good and not listening but hearing. On top of all that, Zach is super manipulative. He forced Anais to sleep inside a boot, made Darwin sleep next to the evil turtle, pressured Richard into dressing like a woman, and even made Nicole follow all his ridiculous commands. Thankfully, Gumball was able to defeat Zach once and for all by legally changing his name, finally putting an end to that nonsense.
Watch out, world! There's a new cat in town, and he's called...
We just talked about Billy Parham and how full of himself he is, right? Well, that doesn't come out of nowhere, because the only person even more arrogant than Billy is the woman who gave birth to him, his mom Felicity. If there was ever an award for being condescending and pretentious to everyone around you, Felicity would win it hands down. In the episode The Egg, when Nicole sets up a dinner to bond with Felicity and Billy, Felicity constantly talks down to Gumball's mom like she's beneath her. This eventually pushes Nicole over the edge, and the two end up getting into a full-on fight. To be fair though, Nicole probably wasn't taking things too seriously. After all, what's one arrogant woman compared to Mr. Rex, Tina's dad, right? And just when it looked like things were finally settling down, Felicity throws in one last insult, saying she's glad her kids don't get along, because that way, she doesn't have to pretend to like Nicole. This leads to a well-deserved, love-filled punch from Gumball's mom that made every single viewer who can't stand Felicity, which is basically everyone, cheer in satisfaction. If there's a list of Gumball's best and worst characters, Richard has to be on it. And of course, he'd go on the good side. Sure, he's an absolute slacker who literally can't hold down a job without throwing the entire world of Gumball into chaos, as we see in The Job. But we can't deny that he's one of the most loving and gentle characters in the show. For example, when young Gumball lost all of his fish, Richard rushed to the pet store to replace them before his son even noticed. That's exactly what a caring dad would do. And if it weren't for Richard and the guy in the van, Darwin and Gumball never would have become brothers, and the show wouldn't be nearly as good. Plus, Richard is probably the only character in the show who never hurt anyone. I mean, sure, overeating isn't healthy, but it only affects him, not other people. Bottom line, Richard might not be Dad of the Year, but every time he showed up, it was guaranteed laughs. That's why fans love him so much. Another Gumball character that's basically impossible to dislike is Larry. He's hardworking, no nonsense, and super reliable. In Elmore, he holds down countless jobs, from clerk to cashier, and does an amazing job at every single one. After all, anyone who works that hard has got to be a good person, right? Well, it wasn't always that way. Back in the day, Larry was known as the laziest guy in Elmore, until Richard took that title from him in the summer of 1983. Now he works an impressive 38 jobs, something he proudly mentions in the menu, and he absolutely crushes it in every one of them. If Larry misses even half of his shifts, Elmore society falls apart instantly, and the town descends into chaos. So yeah, not only is Larry a great guy, he's also essential to keeping Elmore running. If you don't like him, maybe you're the problem. And if you're as into pop culture as we are, go ahead and check out these two video options we left up on your screen. Pick either one, and we promise you're gonna love it.